Hello and welcome to One Called Mama. I am your host, Sam, and thank you so much for deciding to join me today. It has been a very eventful week. I had a 2-day conference this last week that I was part of, and let me tell you, it was life-changing. I love conferences. I love live networking events, in-person networking events. If you ever have the opportunity to go to one, even if you think you can't figure it out somehow, find a way to make it work. Find a way to go. I didn't think I could attend this conference. There were several reasons, plenty of reasons why I thought I couldn't. It would be hard to find a sitter. It would be hard to get together the money to go to pay for the ticket. It was, it was going to be inconvenient for my family, and I had plenty of reasons why I shouldn't go. And I was very blessed to have a couple of people, in particular, the woman who does the conference herself. This is her company and her conference that she does. She told me, she said, you need to find a way to come. And when she told me that, I said, okay, I need to find a way to come. And I'm so thankful for her because she has poured into me. She's been so kind. She has quickly become a mentor to me, and I'm just so grateful for her. She's been on the show. She was actually in season 3. Her name is Kimberly DeShield Spencer. She is the founder and CEO of Behind Her Brand. She also has a magazine publication of that same name and several other companies that she owns and operates. She is quite remarkable, a woman of God, and just someone I highly esteem. If you ever have the notion to, you should definitely go look into her website, go look into her Facebook page and everything that she's doing over there. She has a segment called Monday Morning Brew where she does a 10 to 15 minute, maybe not even that long, kind of like a podcast, but it's on Facebook, and she does a Facebook Live. They're just really, really inspirational, really, really good tidbits for anyone in any area of business or ministry or life. So I highly, highly recommend you go check her out. My mind is so full right now. My heart is so full. I have walked away from this conference with so many new connections, so many new ideas and resources and meaningful, powerful moments. I actually think I'm so overwhelmed by it all. And I have so much that I'm processing right now that I can't even pin down one specific thing to even discuss. I wasn't ready really to jump into what I took away from the conference. I wanted more time to process it. I wanted more time to kind of take it apart and think on it and really just soak in what I learned, what I experienced, because as much as it was beneficial to me as a businesswoman and an entrepreneur, it was even more so powerful on a spiritual level. The moments I had where God was clearly in the midst of it was just incredible. He showed up in a huge way at this conference. I mean, Kimberly is a God-fearing woman. She is, everything she does is filtered through her faith. And yet this company, what she runs, it's not, I mean, it's grounded in her principles and her morals and her values. But the conference itself is not meant to be a spiritual conference. It was just come, learn, network, meet other women, and expand your business, learn new tools and skills, and listen to these guest speakers. But man, the women there are so incredible. They're so driven. They're so in love with the Lord that it was hard to uh get away, even though we don't want to, right? I didn't want to get away from it, but to get away from the spiritual aspect of everything that was going on. It was just so spirit filled. God was over the whole conference, all of the conversations that were held. I know just what I experienced, but I know every woman there experienced something amazing. And if I was able to interview every single one of them, I'm sure they would all share an equally powerful and incredible story of what God did, how he showed up, what he said to them. I've heard someone term it God winks, where he kind of nods that this is a moment that God ordained, kind of thing. And I'm sure that those were just happening all over the place all the time. There were several key moments that were just really impactful for me. There's one moment that really stood out to me, a note that I wrote down, and I remember writing it down. It was when one of the speakers, her name is Dr. Felicia Ford, she said this: each time we level up, we start out at zero, and we need to improve ourselves. So, what that means to me, and what I think she is saying, is that every time we have a breakthrough, we break through our glass ceiling. And if you don't know what that means, imagine you are growing and bettering yourself and working hard and challenging yourself, and you're reading books and you're training yourself, and you have your natural ceiling that you of skill and ability and a talent, but you have to break through that natural ceiling. You have to improve your skills. You have to better yourself to break through that natural ceiling and keep advancing. So imagine that you've broken through your natural ceiling. Well, what worked before to get you to this new breakthrough is not what's going to keep working. You have to continue to keep, you have to continue to better yourself, and you have to start out and look at yourself as starting out at zero. When you really think about that, that's a really hard pill to swallow, because we like to celebrate our wins. We like to see where we've been and who we are now and how far we've come. And those are great things. I'm not saying it's bad. And it's very necessary. We need to remember how we've started and where we've been, and where we are now. We need to always keep things in the right perspective. And yet, to imagine that we're always starting back at zero every time we level up, that's something that I have never really truly considered. I knew about the glass ceiling and breaking through your glass ceiling and then continuing to get better and continuing to grow. And yet, in a lot of ways, I've been relying on things I've learned and resources I've had since, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I've been relying on old, quote unquote, old data that did serve me well. And it's time for me to move on. It's time for me to continue my education. It's time for me to continue to learn and continue to grow. I need to continually search for new things to learn and how to better myself. And the first thought that's coming to my mind is books. Books that I've read before are great, and they're still valuable resources for me. And I need to be continuing to read new books, and that is an area where I have really dropped the ball, and I'm okay with admitting that. I have not picked up a new book and read it in a very long time. Now, I will say that I did start reading a week ago, I think, the Failing Forward book by John Maxwell, and was flipping through it and reading it. My point is, and I'm a little rambly, I apologize. My point is, if we're not continuing to learn and discover and listen, then we're going to stagnate. It's just been a big eye opener for me. The other thing, and it was said by the same speaker, in the same speech, she she talked about falling in love with a season. And I'm not going to go into all of what she said because that wouldn't be right or fair to her. She put together a really beautiful, powerful presentation, and uh, so I want to make sure I honor that. What I do want to say is she talked about how life is full of transitions and how we can be in a season of life where we are really happy, really content, we're successful, our kids are thriving, our marriage is good, our home is, we love our home, we're happy, we're part of the community, we are making connections, we're making a difference, things are going great. And then your significant other is considering a move that you really aren't wanting to make, and how we can be so in love with the way things are right now and see so much fruit being born from where we are and what we're doing and how things are going, that when God calls us to something else, we can really dig our heels in and find and fight to stay where we are, even though obedience is stepping into a new calling, into a new space, whatever that space is. And a lot of times with God, we don't really know why or where or what. We just know the first step is something new. And how falling in love with a season that we're in is is very, it can be very dangerous. You can become so attached, become so comfortable that moving on and answering the call becomes almost inconceivable. The example she gave was a very personal one, and she pretty much described everything that I kind of listed as an example. Everything was going great for her and her family, and her husband felt like God was telling them that they needed to make a big move. And I listened to that story and just thought about, what if that happened to me and Aaron? How would I react? How would I feel? What would I do? What would be my response? Would I be open and receptive? Would I be closed off? Would I be emotional and unreasonable? There's a lot of ways that I could see it playing out. I really don't know. I don't know how I would respond to that. I would like to believe that my response would be having faith and trusting God and praying about it and being like, yes, let's do it. And yet I know there are a lot of things that keep me here. There are a lot of reasons I have to stay where I am. So to imagine yourself in that situation, and if you can be honest and identify, how would it make you feel if God called you to someplace else, or shut the door over here, or said, do this? Check yourself and ask and see, what would your response be? And if it is one of hesitation or fear or doubt or anxiety or just a huge resistance, then maybe there's room there for growth and a opportunity to trust God and see where you can let things go. Have a you hold on, but you hold on with your hands open. And that's been a really big challenge for me over the last couple of years, is to hold on loosely to things, to have my hands open, knowing that God can give and he can also take things away out of my hands. And I have to be okay with both. it's been hard. It's been hard to trust God in that way. And it's also been extremely rewarding because I've seen him, I've seen him show up so big for us. And it has only deepened my faith and my level of trust for him. The other thing I want to share, it's kind of along the same lines. I feel like there's so much more that I could say. I feel like there's so much more that I want to unpack. Like I said, my mind is really racing with all sorts of disjointed thoughts and ideas, one after the other. They don't really come together or make a cohesive episode. It's just kind of this was a takeaway, and this is a takeaway, and this is a takeaway. I probably will in the next week or so do an episode about my takeaways from the conference, and I will just kind of go into one after the other. For right now, I think I want to leave this where this is and really allow us to kind of marinate on these concepts right here, because this is a lot. If you have any prayer requests, if you have a path you're walking right now and it's really hard, you find yourself just really struggling, trusting that God has a plan. You're seeing the obstacles, and that's all you can see right now. I would love to come alongside you in prayer. There is absolutely no judgment for you. It's hard. The things that God has called us to step into can be really hard. They can be very challenging. And having faith to just take one step at a time. Sometimes we need people to have faith for us, and that's okay. You know, I have had some really hard moments where I needed people to pray for me because I couldn't pray for myself. I needed people to have faith for me and to believe things for me because I couldn't do it for myself. And that's what a community of women is all about. That's what having friends and family is about. We will pray with you. I will pray with you. And then we will get up and we will take another step forward. And if you need more prayer, pray for you again. And we are just going to keep going and keep going and keep going. We're not going to give up. We're not going to tire ourselves out. We're going to take it to the foot of the cross. We're going to claim it in Jesus' name that we know he has a plan and that we believe in his plan. And we are going to just keep giving him our yes and keep moving forward and trust that we are going to see the fruits of our labor. We're going to see what God has promised. It will happen. It's just a matter of time. So if you would like for me to pray for you, if you have suggestions for future episodes, if you would like to schedule a prayer Bible workshop with me, or if you would like to have me come out and do a speaking engagement with you for your church or for your group, your small group, what have you, you can email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will be talking to you again very, very soon.